Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 in best of 3 between YppY and Fussel, and this is round 2 of the Great Paradox Tourney. So YppY we haven't seen yet in the tournament, and that isn't because he hasn't played. He has in fact beat captains in round 1, but the replays were not available, so you wouldn't have seen those on the channel. So he defeated captains 2-0. On the Axis side, Fussel, he defeated Desert Wolves in round 1, and you can go back and watch those replays if you haven't already. This is Pointe du Hoc today, and YppY is going to be bringing out the 2nd Infantry, which is a division we've seen quite a bit, and Fussel is going to be relying on the 91st Luftlandr on the Axis side. The 91st Luftlandr, I've seen Fussel play it quite a bit, so I'm pretty sure he's well aware of how to play it very well. Hopefully we'll see that come out throughout this game. And then on the side of YppY, it's going to be interesting to see how he decides to play his 2nd Infantry. At the moment, it looks like just a lot of infantry coming down, which could be pretty damn risky against the 91st Luftlandr, especially with things like the IG-18s available, which can do a lot of damage to infantry squads in the open. But on the same vein, over on the YppY side with the 2nd Infantry, they do have the M7s, which have 250 cals and the HE gun. So if Fussel himself relies a lot on infantry, those M7s could come out and do a lot of damage. Also the M4s can do a lot of damage to infantry as well, but have less HE on their main gun. A counter to those M7s for Fussel is the Pak 40, but sightlines it's going to be very difficult to find kills onto vehicles with AT guns if they are played around very well and recon is used appropriately. Now I am joined by the seagulls today, so hopefully you guys can't hear that too much in the background as I continue my commentary today. But that's what you get for living in a seaside town. Let's just have a look at what's actually gone down in more detail for YppY. We do see some rifles. We have the Ranger unit there, either support or assault. We have the Ranger leader, M20 with some recon. In the middle of the map, Ranger Marauders with 2 units of rifles. We've got command infantry there with, again, more Ranger units. On the bottom side, we have 1 unit of rifles, unit of Ranger. We have the Ranger leader there, and on the far bottom, M20 recon. That's interesting. I'm not entirely convinced about this M20 choice, but if he can use the 50 cal effectively, it will definitely be worth it. Rifles there and command infantry. It's good to see YppY tucking those up before the game starts. Over on the side of Fussel, ersatz and what's possibly an IG on the bottom side. We have the MG, AT, command, and then recon and an ersatz there. 2 units of ersatz accompanying another IG near the top. And at the very top, it's going to be a unit of Fallschirmjägers accompanied by 2 units of ersatz, unit of command infantry. We have the Pak 36 in there and a Kubel with the recon, of course. So those could easily be Panzerabwehr, and that might be what Fussel relies on in order to kill off any heavier armor that YppY decides to bring in the later game. However, Fussel will have access to the Stugs as well as we continue, so he could use those as well to counter the Shermans that the 2nd Infantry can bring. It's all about the initial engagements, and a Pak 40 has been deployed on the main road here. Can it find a kill? It can. It did just take out, I believe, one of the rifle units there. So that's quite big, because that definitely leaves those units outnumbered in the middle. So great job by Fussel landing that shot. Ersatz are going to be dropped out on the bottom side. IG-18 is going to be attacking as well. However, I feel like this IG-18 could be overrun by the M20. Especially if the IG starts to focus on the rifles and Ranger supports here. In the top side, we do see another truck go down there to the Pak 36, rifles and so on have been unloaded, so infantry engagement ensuing. IG-18 plus ersatz are going at the rifles there at the moment, and the IG-18 has been pinned down by the 50 cal of the M20, and that is a great job there by YppY. That 3 armor definitely paying off against the IG, and there is no AT down here just yet to stop that push coming through. So a +1 for YppY early on. In the middle, it seems as though the MG34 has found line of sight onto the Ranger leader thanks to the Panzerabwehr spotting those. Ersatz are still making ground. However, if they move into this tree line, that could be very deadly for them. 2 units of Ranger support getting a crossfire onto the Ersatz. That could be very deadly. However, IG has found line of sight onto one of the Ranger support squads, so that might not be so much of an issue. On the top side as well, Fallschirmjägers pushing with the Ersatz have pinned down the rifles, and therefore will most likely make them surrender if they can find this Ranger leader. If not, they're just going to get killed off anyway, because 3-star Fallschirmjäger firing all of their HE, the rifles won't last very long. And they have found the Ranger leader there, so that is a big deal. And maybe Fussel can make some ground in the top side. Ersatz have just been bombed out by the Ranger leader there and forced to surrender by the 20 HE power grenade. The MG34 hadn't quite pinned down the Ranger leader, so that allowed it to throw the grenade before they got pinned down themselves. Rifles are still alive, and M4DD has come in to reinforce. Now it's really going to be up to Fussel to get this Pak 36 into a position where he can put it on return fire and then kill off the M4, although it looks like he's going for the kill onto the M20 first. If he can find that, that would be very good for him. Weapon damage is fine as well, because that at least means that the M20 won't be providing any 50 cal fire support. So now it's just a matter of getting this Pak 36 into a position to attack the M4. However, the M4 has found line of sight first, and 5 AP versus 10 armor. I don't think that's going to work out very well for Fussel there. Then the bottom side, a Pak 36 has arrived, and that can deal with the M20 quite well. However, if this is played around properly, the rifle should be ahead of the M20 in this case, especially seeing as the salient has been stopped here. IG-18 still hammering some Ranger supports here. That would be very good to pick up that kill for the IG. Ersatz still engaging the Ranger leader there. IG did not find the kill, and then T30 has been called in. 2-star. Will be able to deal with the Ersatz very quickly actually, and also most likely the IG-18. A 3-star veterancy with the Ranger leader there, of course. And it looks like YppY was using a fire position to try and pin down the Pak 36. He knows it's there and he doesn't want to get too close. Over on this side, we have a full-strength rifle squad, but that's just been pinned down by Fallschirmjägers. IG-18 is trying to get out of there, as it has been engaged by the T30. But with the T30 now engaging the Ersatz, I would quite like to see the rifles move forwards there and try and go for the surrender. Or the T30 can just try and get the kill. M20 was killed on the bottom side by the Pak 36. And we see more rifles arriving to reinforce. Now I reckon YppY could be quite aggressive here with these rifles. He saw the Pak 36 kill his M20, or maybe he didn't, but either way, knowing that there's an AT of some sort there would warrant you just charging that down with infantry, because obviously AT guns can't fire at infantry unless they have HE. Up in the top side, M20 has had its engine destroyed by the Panzerabwehr firing its Panzerschreck and does get the kill. However, Recon are able to help reveal those Panzerabwehr after they fired. And this M4 might finish off the Panzerabwehr. They will, as the Panzerabwehr try and run away. Rifles are going to be attacked by the Fallschirmjägers here, but all the while this has remained a +1 for YppY. This T30 is not quite in the right position, in my opinion. It probably could have come down this road and tried to help out with the IG-18. Ranger Marauders are moving forwards. Maybe they'll spot some recon, or spot the Pak-36 with their recon there. Who knows? Bolsheviks trying to hold on this top side, still hammering these rifles. But rifles with their 12 strength squads are incredibly resilient. On the bottom side, Bolsheviks have been brought in to stop any rifles from pushing onto this AT gun. And we also see the Stür 42 finding line of sight onto the rifles as well with the Pak 40 there. So a lot of HE coming down onto these rifles. They are going to be forced to fall back for now. So the Stür 42 ersatz combo is actually quite common with the 91st Luftlander, but it definitely requires the M4s to be dead. And at the moment, on this top side, this is pretty risky. Bolsheviks aren't, in range of the Fallschirmjäger command, and therefore get surrendered to the rifles. And it looks like things just falling apart for Fussel up here, as the M4 did come in and absolutely trash, I guess, the Pak-36 and then the rest of the infantry. Because the great thing about M4s, especially in Phase A, against a division like the 91st Luftlander or any infantry division like the 352nd or the 716th, is they have that 10 front armor, and it is just really good against any AT gun that those infantry divisions can bring in the early phases. So you can definitely make a lot of ground off the back of an M4. And with the rifle support that the 2nd Infantry can bring, it's worked out very well so far. IG-18 has eventually died here, and YppY is still making ground. That's currently being pinned by the rifles at the bottom side, but as soon as the Bolsheviks get involved, that should turn around. More Bolsheviks coming down the mid here. It looks like Fussel's going to try and push where he got an advantage early on, which definitely probably should have been something he did earlier. But now he has this Stür 42. You can use that to help pin these rifles and kill them off. The thing is, waiting this long, Fussel has actually allowed YppY to reinforce here, and an M7 is being called in. So that will allow YppY to attack these infantry units from a distance. Now on this bottom side, the rifles aren't faring very well. An M4 has been called in. That needs to get out of line of sight of this Stür 42 though, because it's unlikely to penetrate it from max range. And it will just end up getting its morale harmed. So yeah, ideally what we want to see here is the M4 just take out this Pak-36, and then it can focus down the Fallschirmjägers and the Ersatztruppen. Although at the moment, Pak-36 doing a great job. HS-129B3 has been brought in and does take out that M4 on the bottom side. The one on the top is still alive, but with this HS-129 in the air, I'm actually very surprised not to see that just fly back in the opposite direction, try and go for the kill onto the T-30, and maybe the M4 there as well. I guess in some ways he doesn't want to give YppY enough time to bring in any significant fighters like Gabby, for example, with the P-47 Thunderbolts. So Fallschirmjägers here engaging Ranger supports. Ranger supports getting pretty close to winning that engagement, almost pinning the Fallschirmjägers there. That is a very close engagement indeed, both pinning each other down, but the Fallschirmjägers recovering just that much quicker. However, the M7 having something to say about that, and will start hammering that squad with its main gun very shortly. Okay, in the bottom, the M4 did go down. The Pak-36 must have just been firing at that for long enough to get the kill. And that means these rifles have a long way to run. So currently 52% territory lead for YppY, still holding on to that +1, which has led him towards 600 points conquest lead at the moment, and he's still making ground in this top side. However, in the bottom, Fussel is definitely coming on strong with the Stür 42 here. The Stür 42 really helping out, and that Pak 36 kind of saving the day there against the M4, when often you would see an M4 actually defeat a Pak 36 quite convincingly. And these rifles just don't know where to go. Currently running across the cliffs. Stür 42 engaging those rifles with the help of the spear troop. Should clean those up relatively quickly if they aren't retreated. So it's really just on YppY to either try and defend this and stop Fussel from making back ground, or reinforce the top side and continue the push. He can do both, considering the unit's disparity. Especially on this top side, there is like barely anything defending. However, he doesn't know that, so it's really his decision whether or not he wants to continue the push or try and defend against the push coming out from Fussel on the other side of the map. And Fussel even, you know, challenging at this point in the game is actually really nice to see. He could bring in more Stür 42s to help his push, but he does have to be worried eventually about the M4A1s coming in and killing those off. Also, things like M5 guns can do a lot of damage to those Stür 42s because they match their range and have more than enough AP to penetrate a maximum range. So the T30 trying to clean up these ersatz. We have Ranger Sports and Rifles continuing the push forwards towards these Fallschirmjägers. Ranger Sports still going with that engagement against the Ranger Supports. That's just insane. Ranger Support Fallschirmjägers firing at each other forever with their machine guns. The Ranger Supports with the 30 cals and the Fallschirmjägers with the MG34s. But a Flak 36 going to be changing that in favour of Fussel and forcing the Ranger Supports to fall back or most likely die in that instance. M4A1 is being brought up. That needs to find line of sight onto either the Pak 36 or the Stür 42, but HS129 is going to be coming on in. Actually lost line of sight onto the M4A1 briefly, I think. And here comes YppY. This is exactly what I was talking about. This time, however, Fussel is prepared. Does have the ME109, also has the Flak 36. And preferably, I think we're going to want to see, you know, Fussel just try and go for other kills with this HS129. But YppY is hot on his tail. It seems as though the Flak 36 there will prevent that from happening, though. Will YppY go down? That's pretty important. Meanwhile, in the top side, the M4 was strafed by the HS129, but did not die. Looks like it took a shot and bounced it. T30 is perfectly safe. So the strike not really going very well there for Fussel and his HS129. All of the infantry in the top side also pinned down at this point. Ersatz, Grenadiers, all pinned, and that will open up a +2 for YppY on the top side here. HS129B3 coming in onto the M4A1, and that's going to be the end of the game after 14 minutes and 54 seconds. Now I can reveal that unfortunately this game ended prematurely due to Fussel disconnecting from the game, but either way it looked like it was very much in favour of YppY, and I would have expected that to continue moving into phase C, although the points and kills to losses are in favour of Fussel. So that's very interesting because YppY had gained a ton of ground on the top side, but Fussel had more kills. So possibly Fussel could have brought it back in the late game, but it gets very difficult as soon as like YppY started investing in AA, especially with the HS129s flying around. That would have made it very hard for Fussel to make back the ground that YppY had already gained during this game. And as long as they maintained the like even kill death throughout the rest of that game, YppY would have still won. So there is that, and I believe this game was credited to YppY. So fantastic job by him, but definitely very aggressive in the top side, brought in the M4s exactly when he needed them, used this M4 here to break through the Pak 36, killed off the Panzer Abwehr as well by almost baiting it with the M20, not sure if that was intentional or not, but the Panzer Abwehr was not kept on return fire, so Fussel ended up firing a Panzerschreck at the M20 and got his Panzer Abwehr killed. When otherwise he might have actually caught out the M4, which would have been really good for him, especially if you look at how well it went for him when he caught out the M4 in the bottom side, where that Pak 36 came in and took that out. It allowed the Stör 42 such free roam to just like go and annihilate any infantry that it came up against, and that was really nice. The T30 HMC, good choice in order to engage the IG-18, took out the Pak 36 and on the top side there as well. And again, just a nice choice of units, and then the rifles just being sacrificial lambs throughout the entirety of the game. In terms of losses, the Pak 40 did end up killing 3 units of infantry. I believe it one-shot the rifles in their vehicle early on. The Stör 42 took out many Ranger Leader, Ranger Sport rifles there. We saw the Panzer Abwehr take out the M20, which revealed itself to get killed by the M4. This Pak 36 killed off an M20, and then we saw the HS-129 come in and take out the M4 on the bottom side. So it must have been the HS-129 that picked that up. Did I see that? I don't even know. Either way, the M4 died down there, and yeah, I think it was mainly the Pak 36 that did the job anyway, because it was what it forced it to fall back in the first place. But yeah, fantastic job by YppY to secure this first game, even though it was off the back of Fussel disconnecting. So hopefully we'll see another competitive game moving into game 2 of this best of 3. YppY will only need to win 1 more in order to advance to round 3, and Fussel will have to win 2 in a row. So maybe it'll go down to a best of 3, who knows. Thanks for watching though, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.